I'm joined here today by Karl Roberson taking on a last-second opponent at UFC Sacktown, Sacramento. Karl, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you for asking. Like I mentioned, you're taking on a short-notice opponent, man. Was there any doubt as to whether you'd fight on this event?
No, not at all. I was fine regardless whoever they gave me.
So, what happened? I mean, when I assume your manager came to you and told you that your opponent pulled out.
Yeah, got a call from my manager I guess 2 weeks ago. My opponent got hurt or something happened and he wasn't gonna be able to fight. And he didn't even have to ask if I wanted to fight. He just said, "I'll let you know who they come back with." And they came back with this young stud. So he's been on a 4-fight win streak. He's had like plenty of submissions and everything. So I'm like, hey, I love to welcome him to the UFC because I'm down for anybody.
For sure, man. Was this someone that you knew before they came to you, or is this someone that you kind of found out when they gave you the name?
That's something I kind of found out when they gave me the name. I didn't really know of him at all until now.
For sure. So, what are you doing to prepare for him? I assume you're watching tape, or are you someone that lets your coaches do that?
Yeah, I watch a little bit of tape. I don't overdo the tape because at the end of the day, people evolve, and he better not be the same person that I've seen on the tape because then it's gonna be a fun night. But they evolve, so if you watch too much tape, you get stuck in ways that might not happen when he steps into the cage.
So, judging from the way you're speaking, I assume you found some weaknesses you're looking to exploit.
Yeah, every fighter has his weaknesses, and I like to bang. I like to put it on. I go out there to hurt people, so I'm going out there to show, make another statement. So go out there and have some fun.
And what are your thoughts on him as you head into this fight? I know you mentioned he was a young stud on this winning streak, but what are your thoughts on him?
He's definitely tough. He's that's all. He's tough. He's game, but from his opponents that I've seen, he hasn't fought anybody of the UFC caliber yet. So I'm good. I'm down to show him there's levels to it.
And just out of curiosity, when you're a fighter and that you mention your opponent, you say he's tough. What does that mean exactly? Is that he can take a shot, or is it tough like he's a fighter, so I guess he's tough?
No, there's levels of fighters. There's fighters who fight to win and fighters who fight to hurt you. He's a fighter that goes out there to hurt you. That's why he got so many submissions and he goes out there to finish. So you gotta earn that tough from me. Like I'm not gonna just tell you tough because you're a fighter. He goes out there and earns his fights. He earns his wins. He goes out there to finish. He don't go out there just to get his hand raised.
And is that more exciting for you because you know you're in for, I guess we can say, a dogfight?
Yeah, I love that. I love the fire. That's how I'm bred. I love the fire. I know he's gonna come with it, and I'm excited. It gives me like an extra fuel.
And I know it's Tuesday when we're recording this, which means tonight is the Contender Series. You're obviously on the first season, got yourself a contract. How do you look back on your time on that show?
It was an experience. It was weird. It was weird. It's like one of the most important fights that you've had, and one of the most awkward moments that you can have because it's a quiet stadium.
Yeah.
It's very small. They didn't really have everything together when I was on it, so it was very small crowd. You can hear everything. A lot of pressure. You walk past Dana White when you walk in, Mickey Maynard, Sean Shelby, all of them, and it's a lot of pressure. But I appreciate it. It put my mindset to a different gear, and it put me to the level I am now.
And what are the nerves like when you're in the locker room? Because they mentioned your biggest or most important job interview. What's that mentality like before you're set to go out there?
The mentality is kill to be killed. It's just like Dan said, he wants killers, and you got to go out there willing to die because that's the level that you're trying to get to. Because everybody in the UFC are killers. We're the top of the top. Pretty much, if me and my people talk about it, if you take every of the best fighters from every school, like if you're in like elementary school, and you throw them in the playground, that's the UFC.
Yeah.
You'll see the best people from every day. You throw them in the playground, whoever comes out survives at the top, and that's the champion. So right now, that's the level you're at.
And I know when you mentioned you're at a high level, obviously, but when guys come from that show, they tend to have that label of prospect. Are you someone, do you feel you still have that label prospect, or have you reached that point where it's like it's time to shed that label and you're now a contender?
I'm looking to try to be a contender, but in this division, for some reason, I'm overlooked. I really am. I guess 'cause I'm not talking as much crap or anything like that. I keep getting shelled. Everybody I've beat has fought 2 to 3 times in between my fight. So I beat them, and they fought 2 times before I can get another fight. So I'm looking to be a contender, and I'm looking to make a statement because I hold grudges as they're saying. So if I'm overlooked, I feel that's disrespectful, and I like to be disrespected. So it is what it is.
You mentioned grudges. I assume you have some names in your mind. I'm not asking you to call everybody out, but is there someone in particular that you're holding a grudge against?
Holding the grudge against in my division? Nah, not at all. Like I said, this is a business, and nobody's really. I wanted at least Theodore, but he got cut. So he was talking junk on Twitter. So he was the only one that I really wanted to get my hands on. Everybody else is anybody in the top 15. Like I like bangers. I like the challenge. So I'm coming for everybody.
And I mean, you mentioned Elias getting cut. What was your reaction when you saw him get cut, especially for the reasons in which he got cut?
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. This is a sport, and this is entertainment. You're not going to think you're going to just run around and do weird shit and think you're going to stay. Like, at the end of the day, even when we had an argument on how a little beef on Twitter, I told him, like, that little running around stuff, you're not breaking the top 10 because they're fighters. They're dogs. They get there for a reason. You run around throwing air punches and spinning and stuff, someone's going to catch you and beat you up. And then you're going to be shown that there's level to this. And it was shown. And at the end of the day, if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, and you think that you're going to just run around, you're going to get exposed and cut. You got to keep your spot where you're at.
And I assume you're coming from the Contender Series. Obviously, you don't get signed unless you're exciting. I assume you're not going to have that issue ever, worrying about being entertaining enough.
Yeah, not at all. Because I'm not going out there to just get my hand raised. I'm going out there to hurt you. Like, I'm going out there, every punch and kick I throw is going to hurt. Like, and you can see it in my fights. Everybody's reaction after I start hitting them, they turn into grapplers or they start bouncing around and stop throwing because they don't want to get hit again. Because I'm not going out there just to get my hand raised. I'm out there to make a statement to let you know that there's level to this and I'm here to kill you.
And one of the guys you train with a lot is Corey Anderson. Are you training with him in preparation for this fight?
Yeah, definitely. That's one of my main training partners. We train together all the time. I don't change teams. I'm not one of those who hop around for anything because I got everything I need in Jersey. So he's one of my training partners. Rex Harris. I up my jiu-jitsu with Ricardo, Dante Rivera, Leandro, a lot of high-level jiu-jitsu guys. So I'm evolving and keeping it tight.
And the reason I bring up Corey Anderson is he was on the Joe Rogan Experience, and on the show he mentions one of his training partners. That's you, of course, talking about how you're a beast and everything. Have you seen that video?
Yeah, I definitely seen it. We always show support to each other. We family. We bleed together. We laugh together. We cry together. Everything. So we always show support, and I love him for that.
Yeah. What was your reaction when you saw it? Because that's a huge platform, and someone like Joe Rogan mentioning you, that's got to be huge, I assume.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of Joe Rogan. He speaks. I'm a fan of real people, and Joe Rogan's a real dude. He speaks his mind. He don't care what nobody says, and I love that. And Corey's the same way, and I'm the same way. So real recognize real, and I gotta respect it.
And I have to ask you, are you someone that watches other sports aside from MMA?
Not really. I don't really indulge in that many sports, I guess. I don't really care that much, truthfully. Like, what am I getting from it? It doesn't really excite me.
That's fair. Are you an MMA fan?
Well, I watch boxing. I love boxing.
Oh, there we go. You watch boxing. I assume you watched Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder not too long ago?
Oh, yeah. Deontay Wilder, big fan of him. Tyson Fury, too. He's a slick guy. Anthony Joshua. I watch all of that.
You mentioned Anthony Joshua, so, I mean, I have to ask you, what was your reaction when you saw that upset?
Mine, he kind of quit. You can see it in his eyes. He seemed like he didn't really want to be there. And once you get to that point in your career, it's hard to come back from. I wish the best for the guy, but he needs to go back, do some soul searching, see where his mind's at, get himself right, and then come back strong and make a statement.
And did you think that the media, because obviously the media is very similar for boxing and MMA, do you feel like the media was disrespecting Joshua? I mean, you saw Stephen A. Smith, if you want to call him media, with his comments. Do you feel like people were disrespecting him?
Everybody has their point of view and everybody has their thoughts, so I wouldn't take it as disrespect. It's just how they feel. So you can take it how you take it. It's how they feel, so it is what it is. Yeah.
Fair enough. We mentioned the 3 heavyweights. One last thing on boxing. Who's your favorite boxer?
My favorite boxer? Roy Jones Jr. That's my favorite boxer.
I mean, how can you not? The taunting, the Jordan brand. I mean, I have to go. That's a great answer.
So yeah, you gotta respect him. He jumped like 3 weight classes. He did a lot in the sport that a lot of people haven't done. And he talked the talk, he walked the walk, and he fought.
You mentioned the jumping weight classes, so let's jump to this. You were at 205 in your last fight against Glover Teixeira. It's kind of a weird fight because unfortunately things didn't go your way, but a lot of people saw a lot of good things from you in that fight. How do you sort of look back at that one?
Look bad. It was an opportunity. It was like a win-win for me because it's not my weight class, and I like to fight. And he's a legend. Truthfully, he's been in the game for how long, doing what he does, and I take it as an experience. Like I could have finished him, but the experience showed, and I take it as a lesson learned.
And so overall, do you look at it like it's a good thing? Like, I mean, you almost finished him. I mean, obviously it's not a win, but it must still feel pretty good that you came close to beating a guy like that.
Coming close kind of burns more, so it's not really a good feeling.
Okay.
It's more like because to 8 days notice, I did a lot. I could have did better. I could have. I'm one of my hardest critics, so I've looked back on it and I appreciate the opportunity, but it definitely pissed me off.
I mean, people mentioned that you did look good in that fight. That was another weight class. Was there any thought staying at 205, or were you just confident that you were dropping back down?
No, I was confident I'll drop back down. I still got a lot of noise to make it 185. I go to 205, and my boy Corey's at 205, and we're never going to fight. That's just not, unless we fight for a title, we're never going to fight. So there's no reason for me to stay up there.
All right, for sure. 185, what are your goals for the rest of the year? You mentioned that you're not happy that you're not fighting quite enough. What are your goals for the rest of 2019?
I'm trying to get at least 2 to 3 more fights in. Like I'm trying to get back-to-back fights. Like I hate sitting around doing nothing. Yes, I like to evolve and train, but I like to fight. And I'm not just fighting for money. I'm fighting because I want to make a statement. I want to evolve in the division and get higher in the division. And only way that's going to happen if I keep fighting, right? So I like to stay active, and I like the ring rust. I don't like having to get used to it again. I rather just stay comfortable.
Here, I'm having trouble hearing you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's better. All right, and let's talk about this fight. You mentioned we're expecting a barn burner. What are you expecting from this fight? Like, what kind of fight can we sort of expect out there?
Truthfully, he took this on short notice, so he's definitely looking to grapple because that's how he won most of his fights. So I'm looking to see he's going to try to stand a little bit, see what I'm capable of, and he's going to definitely try to go for a takedown or something like that. And I've been working a lot on my jiu-jitsu and takedown, so he's going to keep trying to take me down with sprawl on him and see what he can take. Do the punches, kicks, elbows, and all that. Put my hands on him pretty much. Let him know that there's levels to it.
Yeah, for sure. I just have one more for you. Looking at this fight, how do you see this fight playing out? What are you expecting results-wise?
I'm going for the knockout. I'm always going for the knockout. Knockout anyway to finish. So he's going to come out, bounce around a little bit, throw a couple of jabs, throw that overhand. I'm stronger than I look, I'm faster than I look. I keep telling people, and they like to find out the hard way. So we'll see.
All right, man. Well, we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a great fight, obviously, especially with 2 guys that like to bang. So we're looking forward to it, and we'll talk to you soon.
Definitely, man. Thanks for having me.